Hello, everyone, and welcome to EduMatch. Follow along with us at tinyurl.com/tweettalk63 and on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, if you're interested in being the featured person of the day, growing that PLN, getting more people in your network, then you might want to sign up at edumatch.org. We have our person of the day form. There's a little bit of a wait, but still we're working our way down. So right now we are well, I won't tell you how many people we have, but still sign up, because if you sign up, then you have access to all kinds of goodies, such as our Voxer group that we can add you to, as well as an auto retweet of your blog, as long as it has an RSS feed, and many other perks that come with being an EduMatch member. So definitely sign up. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to our moderator for this week, Paul O'Neill. He came up with an amazing topic and some amazing questions. And I have to say the history of how this happened. So one day in July, we took a week off, and I checked my Twitter and I saw that it was the hashtag EduMatch had blown up, and I was just like, what? We took a week off. What happened? And I go back and see that this amazing person has stepped up and just put on a chat impromptu. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. Because I went back and looked at the conversation. I was just like, this is awesome. So, we definitely have to have you on to do an official EduMatch chat. So tonight he came up with this awesome topic, these awesome questions, and he is on Twitter. And he will be, you can connect with him there. So Paul O'Neill, 1978. So tonight's topic is game changers, shattering the status quo. And we have some awesome panelists who are all game changers in their own right. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. We're going to start at my left and work all the way to my right. So we'll start first with Desiree. If you could please introduce yourself and welcome. This is your first time on EduMatch, so we're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Well, I'm Desiree Alexander, aka Educator Alexander, and I am an instructional technology supervisor in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I have my own educational consulting firm called Educator Alexander, and it has a lot of resources on it. And you can go to www.educatoralexander.com.
Awesome. So happy to have you here. We connected at Google Innovator Academy this summer in Colorado. So it was awesome meeting you, and very happy to have you on here. So welcome again. All right, next we go up to Matt Fratt.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt Fratt, from not too far from Sarah, actually, a couple miles. I live in Virginia, but it's close to Washington, D.C., and I'm an academic technologist, and it's great to be here.
Great. Welcome back, Matt. Very happy to have you as always. And last and certainly not least, we have Rachelle.
Hi, Rachelle Poth from outside of Pittsburgh. I teach high school Spanish and a STEAM course for technology to students in 8th grade. And I've been teaching for a little over 20 years. I love learning new things about technology and finding ways to work with the students. And I definitely enjoy being part of EduMatch. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Rachelle. We love having you, love hearing from you as always. All right, so welcome to all of our panelists. Welcome to everyone who's watching and who's tweeting with us, and to people who will be watching us later on. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. So here is the first question from Paul about stagnant thinking. That was a slip of the tongue, but it actually got right to the heart of it. So why is it important to avoid stagnant thinking in our profession? This is like, sometimes we see it and we just kind of cringe. So why is it important to avoid that? So any takers on this first question? All right, Rachelle, go for it.
I did the wait time for that one just to see if anybody else wanted to go first. I just think it's important because as teachers, or even if you're administrators or tech coaches or whatever your role is in education, you really, if you're stagnant in your thinking, then the people that you're working with and that are around you and impacted by you closely, or even far away that you don't even know, are going to not have as many benefits as they would if you took some steps further. So if you stop thinking about the next step or the next way to change things up, that message transcends to anybody that you're working directly with, and it would have a negative impact. So I think that, even if it's, and some people are afraid to try a lot of new things, and it doesn't take that much. It might be something that you're already doing, and you just change it in some subtle way, but it also students or anybody that you work with to show that, like, yeah, you're willing to take that next step, and you don't give up, you keep working, because it's easy to just kind of take things in, but sometimes it's kind of hard to take that next step, and if we stop, then like, who's going to do it? So it definitely starts with us, I think.
Absolutely, modeling that risk taking and that lifelong learning. Absolutely. All right, coming next to Desiree.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the word stagnant, and anything that you do in education, whether you're in administration, district level, classroom level, whatever you do, if you just stay the same, there is no progress. And we're definitely hurting our students if we don't want to learn more, and not even just dealing with technology, just with all education, all curriculum. If we're not trying to know what is new and what is better and what is upcoming, then we really are just staying the same, and we don't want our students to do that, so why would we?
Great point. Great point. We definitely want to do as we do, not just as we say. So absolutely. Matt.
Yeah, just to echo what Desiree said, I remember it wasn't that long ago, like 8, 9 years, when kids walked into my 7th grade classroom and they couldn't type, like most of them, 5, 10 words per minute. And now I don't teach typing to 7th graders. They're at 20, 25, almost all of them. Maybe 1 or 2 need remediation, and I, ditto for like GarageBand and Microsoft Office. Like, they know it. And so as everybody here has got a tech angle from the introductions, and we have to learn new stuff or we become not so useful.
Absolutely. We have to change ourselves to line up with the changing world. Absolutely. All right, great. So we're going to go now to our second question. How can we support and influence others who are reluctant to take risks? So we can be thinking of our peers. We could even be thinking about our students, but however you want to answer the question. So Desiree, let's go to you first.
I think really is sharing our story with them. I like to tell teachers that, Harry Wong wasn't born Harry Wong, and Ron Clark wasn't born Ron Clark, and all these people that we look up to in education, they weren't born to be that. They learned, they continued, and they shared. And to just know that, you can support and influence other people by showing them your journey and showing them that, you weren't born knowing how to do all this tech stuff. You learned it, and you had some hiccups along the way. And just, I think that puts a lot of my teachers at ease when I let them know that, because they know that I understand the struggle and I understand their journey, and that I'm there to actually support them with it. That, I know we say no question is a stupid question, and I don't always agree with that. But they know that I don't care if it's a stupid question or not, ask it. Who cares? You're there to learn. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. It is definitely all about that learning, all about that learning. Fantastic. So Matt, Rachelle, who would like to jump in on this? Rachelle?
Yeah, I agree everything with what you just said, and you have to, by modeling is what it comes down to, and telling and being open and honest with people. Like, I had a conference yesterday, and just because you're the person that's standing in the front of the room does not mean that you know everything there is to know and that you're the expert. And I found myself saying that several times, and I've been thinking about it, and I said it yesterday, and I tell my students, like, just because I teach Spanish doesn't mean I know everything there is, or just because I'm standing up here at a conference or wherever you are does not make you the expert. It means that you've invested some time in it and you have some experience with it, but by no means does it exhibit or express that you have all there is that encompasses it. So there's still something to be learned, and showing our students or whoever we work with that, yes, like, we make mistakes and we take that opportunities to learn from them, and modeling that for our students, and like the no question is a dumb question or stupid question. I mean, I have students that say that all the time, and it's like, well, okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but take that risk. And if it ends up being something where you're like, the answer is really right there on your paper, or something you're like, oh, yes, I know that, but you don't know. And it's sometimes that's that one question that you maybe should have asked, or that one chance you should have taken. So just emphasizing, like, you know what, go for it. And if you make a mistake, then pick up and move forward. That's what the saying that I know we've all seen on Twitter and we've read, that what FAIL stands for, first attempt in learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have to definitely keep them encouraged to keep trying, keep persisting. Absolutely. All right, Matt.
Yeah, to encourage people to take risks. I remember this summer I needed some inspiration, and there's this old video on YouTube. It's like 6 years old, but it's got like 4 million views, and it's called First Follower: Leadership Lessons from a Dancing Guy. Now I won't give away the plot of it, but it I don't know. It's one of the most. I think it's a classic. I think it's so inspiring to me about what it means to take a risk. And I don't know, I'll post it. Hashtag EduMatch in Twitter. If you haven't watched it, oh my gosh, it's totally worth watching.
I love that video. That is a great one. That is such a great video. All right, fantastic. So let's jump into our third question. We actually might have time for a fourth. I didn't anticipate that we'd get to all four, but let's go to question 3, which is, what things can we change today to make a better tomorrow for future teachers and students? So what are some things that we can change today? Rock, paper, scissors? All right, Desiree.
The first thing that popped in my mind is just change the culture of education for adults and for students, and kind of what was said earlier, what Rachelle said about changing the culture of failure and changing the culture of fear. I think that is one of our biggest challenges in education today, is that fear of failure, that fear of failing, the fear of not making the right score on the test and all that kind of stuff. And it stops us from actually learning, actually taking those risks, and actually trying to solve the problem just for the problem's sake, and not, to do anything else. And I think if we can work on that together and change that fear, it will make a more successful tomorrow for our students and for our teachers.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about taking those risks together and learning alongside of your students. Fantastic. All right. Anyone else?
I'll hop on in. This is, I was Sarah and I were joking before this one. This is a big topic, big questions, and this is a big question. Like, how are we going to change our community and our. I've been trying to do, especially in light of like presidential things, like doing little, not a lot, but like little things. Like I went to a little phone banking thing and gone to a few actions. So, it's not a lot, but it's more than nothing, which is what I was doing before.
I hear you on that. Definitely hear you on that. Desiree, it looks like you want to say something else?
Well, I just want to, Matthew kind of gave me another thought from what he just said, and is that any step you take in the right direction counts. And just having people, I know a lot of people sit back and go, well, I can't help, everything's so broad, the challenges are so big that there's nothing a little old me can do. But just teaching that any step you take in the right direction makes a huge difference, and having people really take that into heart and really understand and live that way. Then if we're all taking those steps, in the right direction, how big of an impact that can really make on education.
Absolutely. Even those baby steps, they all add up. Absolutely. Rachelle.
Well, there's not much more that I could add to what both of you had said, but the only thing, if somebody said to me, like just like your question was asked, what can we change today? I would say that if it starts with me, and I decide today that tomorrow I'm going to go to work and I'm going to start telling my story, and I'm going to try one new thing, and I'm going to share maybe in the morning with my morning class an example of something that I've tried and hasn't worked, or I'm just going to try and step out of my comfort zone in some way and listen to something that I've picked up on Twitter or something I've read and try one new thing tomorrow. Like if each day you try one new thing and you start sharing, the most important thing is just telling your story and participating and letting people hear your experiences, and then think like, oh, well, yeah, I could do that. I could try that. Or, okay, so maybe I won't be successful, but this is what you do. And it's all part of a learning process. So I don't think you can go wrong. That actually came out a little bit longer, but I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fantastic. Definitely words of wisdom. All right. Fantastic. So we have one more question for you all today. So this last one is, what status quo mindsets do you plan to shatter? You personally plan to shatter in 2016, 2017. Ooh, that's a good one. So Matt, what do you think?
Well, this doesn't directly impact students, but students watch us, and so no matter what we do, it may have a positive influence on them. So for status quo, like one of my bucket list things was I always wanted to vlog. This guy Casey Neistat, I've been watching him for years, and I video log every day. But what do I have to say? But my wife she kicked me in the butt. She's like, just talk about what you do at school every day, and that's one. I shattered some status quo, and it feels so far so good. Feels great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Video blogging is such an excellent tool. Actually working on that right now, researching that, having students do it. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Rachelle, what about you?
Well, I have to follow up Matt on his answer because I feel the same way that you feel about that with blogging, because I thought about it years ago, and I thought, what would I write about? What would I say? Like, what could I possibly have to offer? I mean, there's so much written material that's out there, or Twitter chats, there's information everywhere, but everybody has their own story. And so I have been writing some more blogging, and I would like to write more, but listening to you, I've wanted to do some video lessons for my students and do something more like you suggested. So I'm thinking that maybe you might have just given me that little extra encouragement to put that on my list and to really move forward with that instead of holding back on it like I kind of have been.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, we can all grow together. So it sounds like y'all have a common goal. So definitely that sounds cool. Maybe accountability buddies there. All right. What about you, Desiree?
And I hate to say the same thing, but it's so true. When Matthew said blog, I was like, no, he took my answer. But it's the truth that I have a website and I've been doing that kind of stuff, but I've been wanting to get more into just blogging right now. And kind of what Rachelle said, I'm like, well, what do I have to say? I don't know what I would say. And eventually I want to write a book. So I'm like, okay, if you can't write a blog, you're not going to be able to write a book. So get on it. So that is one of the status quos that I do want to change, is starting a blog so I can eventually write a book.
Oh, what a great goal. That is a fantastic goal. A few of us in EduMatch are working on one right now, and hopefully we will have you as part of one in for our next year, 2017 version. So Rachelle, did I just see your mic unmuted?
Well, it was temporarily, but I just wanted to say that I'm not on video, not intentionally right now, but if I were to follow through with Matt, if I could get it to work, I would. But writing the book too, that's another thing, but you hold back, and we can't hold back because we all have our stories, and not everybody experiences your same environment that you know of, but there may be somebody out there that can take some message, even small, that's just enough that what they need at that moment, they need it. Because I know when I read some of these books, I have a ton of books right now, and I'm reading pieces of all of them, but that's kind of like a reverse blog in a sense. You just start writing, just talk out loud. That's what I do, in all honesty. I talk out loud. I record into a Google document just to get my thoughts, and then time passes and I read through it. And then if I think it's, oh yeah, that's interesting, and in the process you might come up with some new idea, and then you put that out there and somebody reads, then you get the feedback, and maybe it isn't the best thing you've ever written, but it's a starting point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is good stuff. Definitely. When we share, then, other people can learn so much from our journey. So that is great. So thank you all so much for your insight today. Thank you all on Twitter. Oh my gosh, Twitter is on fire right now. So also a huge shout out once again to Paul for the topic and the questions for tonight. Great topic. Thank you to everyone on our panel. You guys are amazing. So next week, we are going to be talking about mindfulness. So definitely that's going to be a great topic. Anyone can be a panelist as long as you're in education and interested in the topic. So you can sign up at tinyurl.com/EduMatch sign up. Tonight's Twitter conversation will be transcribed and tweeted right back out in a matter of minutes. And the audio from today will be stripped and put in an iTunes podcast that will be available in the coming weeks. So just wanted to give a heads up for some really cool events that are taking place this week that I am very happy to be a part of. The first one, the Worldview Conference at the University of North Carolina. So if anyone happens to be down there, just give us a shout at edu_match, as well as the Colonial Tech Conference going on in Delaware this Saturday on the 22nd. So looking forward to those two events. So subscribe if you like this podcast, bit.ly/EduMatch podcast. And that is a wrap. So everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great week. Bye.